Hey, it's Friday night. It's 7:30. You know where you're at.
And I'm your host, Dave, the local cigar guy, sometimes referred to as Padrino. I'd just like to thank Big G, the whole gang, including Karen, having me here tonight. And I think this time we're going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to step out of the wonderful world of whiskey and bourbon. We're going to step into the equally dynamic and wonderful world of cigars. So what I'm going to do as a little education is I'm going to give you the three main growing countries: Nicaragua, Dominican Republic, and Honduras. So each of those countries obviously have very different characteristics. We're going to look at the characteristics which make them unique. Then I have a little twist. I'm going to give you a liquor that's going to pair with each country. And so I would say unilaterally and unequivocally, if you ask the preponderance, hold a second. Anybody want to get a dictionary? Go ahead. Just kidding. Anyway, if you ask everybody that in Latino countries, the thing I would say unwaveringly is everyone drinks rum. It's just kind of like bourbon in the United States, or you go to vodka in Russia. Rum is one of the main things that they drink. So I'm going to pick a rum from each country. After we talk about the tobacco characteristics, we're going to pair it up, and each one of us are going to take a taste. So I would say kick back, grab a drink, light up a cigar, and let's drill down.
Awesome.
First, let's talk about Nicaraguan tobacco. Nicaraguan tobacco is known for its rich, full-body profile. Nicaraguan tobacco has become a favorite among aficionados for it prefer a bold smoke. Expect earthy flavors with hints of spice and coffee, and thanks to the country's fertile volcanic soil, it's the perfect choice if you enjoy an intense, complex smoking experience. So, to that note, I paired a rum with it. It's the Bacardi 8-Year Rum. For Nicaraguan cigars, this is a rum that offers a smooth notes of dried fruit, vanilla, and a touch of oak, perfectly balanced with the bold, spicy flavors of Nicaraguan tobacco. It's a great, affordable option for those who enjoy a rich and earthy smoke. If you're looking for a more bougie and costly experience, I also added, if you want to pay for it, it's called the Zaya Gran Reserva 16. It's quite a bit more expensive, but I wanted to show you pedestrian bottles that you can go to every normal liquor store or grocery store, and you'll be able to put them in your collection.
For that other bottle that you mentioned, Dave, do you have to hop on a plane and go to Nicaragua too? Is that what makes it so expensive?
No, you can buy it here, but it's one of those limited production things.
Gotcha. Okay.
So for the first one, we've got, this is Bacardi, formerly a Cuban rum, and it's now, a bold option made in Puerto Rico. And I wanted to share this with the colleagues. But first, Joe Boo, my little voodoo friend, needs to have a taste because he is going to help the tribe tomorrow.
Go tribe! Woo!
There you go.
Sorry for those. I just screamed into the microphone.
All right, I'll pass it along.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Now, Bacardi bought this.
So Bacardi was nationalized in 1961 in Cuba. The government, like they did with everything else, they nationalized it and took it over. So the Bacardi family moved to Puerto Rico, since that was the number one rum in the world at the time was the Cuban Bacardi. And when the family, Arechibalda family that owned it, got kicked out of Cuba, they started penniless basically in Puerto Rico. Now it's the number one rum brand in the world again.
Awesome. Do you have any tasting tips? Is it different from bourbon when you're nosing it or anything like that,
No,
or
you
just
wanna-
do the
it's
same thing?
all the
Okay.
Just take a sip. It's a little sweeter.
Ooh.
So I noticed the bottle said it was a gold rum. Are these all gold? Because you have the dark rum too, which I only know because you put them in that one drink with the ginger beer.
This is aged 8 year, not necessarily. They don't categorize them like they do tequila with reposado or añejo or extra añejo. It just happens to be the color of the label, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that is really smooth.
Isn't that good?
And these are sugarcane based also?
Those are sugar cane based. Absolutely.
Okay.
So you said this goes with the Nicaraguan cigar, which is bold.
Ooh, is that
Yes.
It's bold.
nice?
So
That's really nice.
Yes.
Greg is the bold cigar smoker, which I'm sure you are as well, Dave. But the boldness seems to be a good pairing because this is really smooth.
Right.
And it doesn't overpower, but it probably complements the cigar.
Exactly. You need a nice sweetness to compensate the bold, rich flavors of the Nicaraguan soil. I mean, if you look back in the early '90s, Cuban cigars were still the forbidden fruit. There was no internet, so everyone would buy. Fuente was around, and I know Padron was around, but there wasn't really much happening in Nicaragua. Now being in the business and having my own place, Royal Havana Cigars in Willoughby, I studied what's overall in the United States, what percentage of tobacco comes from what country. So 60% of the tobacco consumed in our country comes from Nicaragua.
Really?
So they've
Nice.
grown over the years, where Dominican and Honduras have come up too, but not as much as Nicaragua, just for the boldness.
When we were in Kill Devil Rum,
In the Outer Banks.
in the
yep.
Outer Banks years ago, and they said that that this product was the original whiskey
Right.
Really?
from
Look,
way back.
It goes back 6 centuries.
It's,
when-
I was just going to say, go
Yeah,
ahead.
It goes
Okay.
back 600 years when Columbus discovered Hispaniola and essentially Cuba. The indigenous Indians in Cuba, the Taino Indians, were already smoking tobacco, which their name for it was Cohiba, which I'm sure people know today as being the flagship label of brand of Cuba. But also we're drinking a fermented product from sugarcane, and they call it rum. So they're really the first to do rum, going
Awesome.
back to the late 1400s.
Wow, awesome.
I just pulled up Nicaragua on a map because I wasn't sure. I don't know my geography of the countries there, but it is in Central America,
Yep.
and it's in that little
Right.
if you
Yep.
imagine North and South America,
Connected.
it's the connection right in the middle there.
Right.
So
That's correct.
probably an awesome climate to grow tobacco.
It is the perfect climate. I mean, there's 4 or 5 different growing regions. You have Omotepe, you have the Jalapa, of course Esteli, which a lot of people know, and Condega are the 4 regions, and each one has its unique characteristic. The Omotepe is a volcanic soil, which I made the latest cigar called Hoops for one of the employees as an homage to his loyalty and his passion for cigars. And it tastes different than everything else because it has that volcanic soil. So you could have the wrapper grown in Nicaragua, it could taste completely different because of the different microclimates.
Awesome. Awesome.
So next I wanted, if it's okay, unless anybody has any questions or...
Anybody got any questions in the audience?
I'm surprisingly pleased with the flavor. I'm not a rum guy, but that's a nice drink.
Very good drink. Absolutely.
Yeah, this
Very
one,
smooth.
this one is. I mean, I'm getting a lot of like red, ripe cherry right off of the nose, and this is like really nice.
I'll get that on the nose.
I never,
right away.
I never would have thought to drink rum neat. I
Right.
mean,
Yes.
that's one of the.
That's one of the things I wanted to try to... I never did either. When I went to Cuba, you're kind of forced because they don't have rum. I mean, they don't have bourbon.
Hello.
They don't have whiskey. It's all rum, so... And they don't have ice. Number one, no ice. Can't find ice.
Oh boy.
So I'm
They lost
drinking
the
rum,
recipe.
and then all of a sudden, you keep drinking, and 30 years later, they call you rummy. But, it's good.
But I mean, drinking rum neat. I'm usually, you drink a rum and coke or in the.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
Which ruins
That's
everything?
right. That's right.
God,
That's right.
not mind you, Reese.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I can't think of that tiki drink.
Pina colada.
That's one of them. But a painkiller. That's the drink I'm thinking of. The painkiller.
Aren't they all a painkiller after?
I believe so, yeah. But I mean, usually that's how I drink my rum. But I've never would have thought about drinking it neat, and it's a whole new experience. I'm really enjoying this one.
Awesome.
So one thing. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
How many years were you in Cuba?
Well,
I know
I
that
originally went in '94 to help my brother who was doing a documentary on the Olympics, and as fate would have it, you meet a significant other, and the rest of your life is history. So, but I always fantasized as a child of going in a time machine when I saw the movie Time Machine and going back in time. You get off the plane, you walk down the stairs, you look around. There's no computers, there's no cell phones. All the cars are from the '60s. It's absolutely
Awesome.
unbelievable, and you feel like you're back in time. So that's kind of what drew me in, and it was the romanticism of living in the '50s. So that's basically why I fell in love with the place.
And I love
That's
how
30
you,
years.
I love how you've replicated that when you walk into Royal Havana Cigars.
Absolutely.
It's, you walk in, the furniture is, some of the old time furniture. We were talking about when we were there last time
Is
that
it?
you have the old ashtrays that
Yep.
you kids made in school, back from the 70s. And
Right.
it is like you're walking into there like you would imagine walking into
I
Cuba.
wanted people that haven't been there don't understand that a lot of the furniture that came after the 50s wasn't ordered. A lot of the cars they couldn't get access to. So a lot of things have remained in time. Like the Riviera that it was owned by Meyer Lansky, a famous mobster from the 20s, is that it was, you'd walk in and it had that same red button tufted bar
the
that they had when
velour.
he was there in 57. So a lot of the things since the embargo that was imposed by the U.S. government with Russia in 1961 has not allowed us to do trading with them, and some other countries also don't trade with them, so they don't have access to a lot of the modern conveniences that we have. So I wanted to show the average individual, hey, you walk in, you hear the Latino music, you kind of go back in time, and you'd be able to experience it for yourself.
I love the point of the fact that how the different colors are
Right,
unbelievable.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
everyone is different, not even close to each other. It's wonderful.
that's right, I appreciate that.
And quick question, Dave. What is the price point on this Bacardi one? And this one's readily available in Ohio too.
Readily
Yeah.
available in Ohio, $34.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And
Winner.
do we know a proof? Are these like 80s or?
This would be 80 proof.
Okay.
That's 80 proof.
Okay.
So I wanted to move on to the next country real quick. And,
Yes,
Can
please.
I ask
Take your
you
time.
one
Sure, sure.
question?
Take your time.
Sure,
Take
sure.
your time.
So our friend Joris,
Yeah.
from across the pond, he says he has no knowledge about rum whatsoever, and he said, "Give me one reason why I should start exploring that too.
Amen.
Well,
That's fantastic.
One
Well,
reason.
One reason why."
You know, I asked Big G earlier. He's got one of the most fabulous whiskey and bourbon collections on hand, and he said, "Let me look around for a bottle of rum." And you know what? You were hard pressed to find a bottle. So what I want to say is, even people like you that are at the top of their game, that understand everything in the whiskey and bourbon world, it's a nice little addendum. It's something that you're going to learn and grow if you're not already in that sector of the market. So it's just another, arrow in your quiver if you wanted to be well-rounded in the whole universe of alcohol.
And I learned a lot. I learned a lot, and I need to learn a lot more. But at the end of the day, you're the one that brought me into the rum world.
So that's why you would want to, expand your horizons. Everybody in the world now is focused on rum and are focused on bourbon and whiskey. That's why the prices have skyrocketed, and the Japanese are in the market with Scotch and their Japanese whiskey. So it's a nice little side thing that you can go out and find the rarer ones that haven't been snapped up yet,
Right.
because it's not all the rage right now. So that's another opportunity.
I do have one question, and I don't know if you're going to know the answer to this. So typically with whiskeys and bourbon, the main ingredient is corn.
Sure.
With rum, what
90% of the rum is sugar cane.
did you say that? I'm
Yeah,
sorry if you
yeah.
said that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
missed that when you were talking earlier.
That's what more rums are is mainly sugarcane.
Yeah, sugar cane. In Cuba, obviously, they don't have the access to other additives and stuff, and they're 100% sugar cane, and they just refine it and they distill it and they turn it into rum.
That's awesome.
So there's plenty of sugar cane on all the islands.
I remember when I was a kid, and I remember as a kid, my grandfather on Sundays, he would take us. He worked for Sanson and Sons back in the day, which is still a company today, and he was the main guy to make sure to check all the temperatures, and he would get those sugar canes, literally actual sugar canes, and he would cut it for us kids. We'd run around with a chunk of sugar cane and licking it like
Just
like
gnawing on
almost
it.
like ice cream, and I
Yes.
remember that.
In Cuba, they have roadside stands. It's nothing more than a press, and they'll cut the stalk. Gentleman's been in
And they're a
the
nice
audience.
sized stock too.
They
They ain't no
take-
joke.
it's
It
thick.
looks like bamboo.
They'll
Yes.
put it in a press, and they crush it, and the water that comes out goes into a glass, the juice. They hand it to you it costs like 3 cents. It's called warapo, and it's pure sugarcane juice. And they put a little bit of ice in it, and people come from all over.
But they don't
Car
have
stop.
ice.
Chips, if they can. It's not like you and I do. Just little chips.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
the second country I'd like to explore is Dominican Republic. And the Dominican Republic was, before Nicaragua came up, they were one of the main players in the market. But they offer a, like your Andalusian Bull, or is La Flor de Nicaragua, but it's a mild cigar similar to what you'd find in Dominican Republic. It's appropriate for people that want a more subtle smoke. These cigars carry notes of cedar, leather, and just a touch of spice. Dominican cigars are great for long, slow smokes where you can really savor the complex layers of the flavor. And the rum that I decided to pair, looking through most of the rums and having sampled this many times, is Mount Gay Black Barrel Rum. It's rich profile with notes of caramel, spice, and toasted oak. Pairs beautifully with the smooth, nuanced taste of a Dominican cigar, making it a fantastic option at a great price. For a more luxurious experience, try Facundo Exquisito Rum. It's about $100 a bottle, which has a silky finish with hints of raisins, brown sugar, and spices that enhance the complexity of the Dominican tobaccos. So, you want to get to the Mount Gay?
Absolutely.
I found a
Whoa!
mountain.
Had to go there.
A gay mountain.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I have to remind myself not to pour so much this time because I think I got overzealous with the Bacardi there.
It was kind of a. So I was looking at the legs. So
You see the lightness of this one and how
Yes.
it would be a
Yeah.
more.
it was very subtle.
So basically what you were saying is that it comes from the sugar cane. So basically these are just like a modified sugar wash when you're distilling it. So you're distilling basically a sugar wash and then putting it in barrels to get the color.
Right. Well, they have French oak. They do have American
Right.
oak, and that's from your experience that could give it a different taste. Plus, it's the climate. The climate of each individual country is going to vary, and that's going to have a different impact on the taste. And then how long did they distill it for? You get a
Right.
longer distillation process. You're going to get it's going to infuse more of the flavors and the notes from the wood into the rum, and you're going to get probably more of a bold taste. So this is a more subtle, light rum. Try it and tell me what you think.
Right off the nose, it's not as fruity, if you will. There's not as much that dark cherry on this one.
Yep.
Did you say cedar with this one?
No.
Oh, okay, because I'm pulling out like a cedar smell with this one.
With the notes on the cigar has their cedar notes, and that's why when you taste that, it's kind of appearing.
Okay.
Definitely a different taste for sure. But I don't mean that in a bad way.
It's more woody.
Yeah, it's more earthy. It's an earthy.
And there's
It's very light.
and there's a nice sweetness to
It
the
is.
finish of it.
It is.
And that's.
Ooh.
I mean, I'm just having a hard time placing that sweetness. I mean, but it's there. It's just very nice, very subtle.
In Cuba, I'd run into a few boat captains in Old Havana over the years, and I asked them, we're drinking Havana rum, and they would ask me, if you ever had Mount Gay? That's when I first heard of it. I said, no. He said, all the boat captains that travel those routes, Honduras, all of Dominican Republic, St. Thomas, Puerto Rico, almost all of them drink Mount Gay rum. That's the one that they prefer the most. These guys are traveling all the time, so.
Go ahead.
No, I was just say I used to have a bottle of Mount Gay.
I was introduced to Mount Gay about a year and a half ago, just a regular Mount Gay.
XO?
Friends of mine drank that, and it was like, wow, that was pretty good, but I was drinking it with rum and Coke.
Yeah.
And
You don't
so,
get the true flavor.
seriously, and it's like, I wish I would have had a chance to, or I wish I would have taken the opportunity to drink it neat, like I'm doing here, and
It's
this
light.
is really nice. I mean,
Very light.
I'm really starting to think that I need to go back and, try these
Revisit
things
them,
neat, yeah, because this
got-
is
it's
really
It's
nice.
fruit, man. I mean, good in a good way.
I could see sitting by a fire with this one too, like you would with a bourbon. I could see sitting around a fire with something like this, just change it up a little bit.
I like how the nose and the taste on this one are for me at least, they're completely
Yes.
opposite. The nose, it was very woody
The-
and earthy smelling, and then the taste on it is sweet, and I
It
was
is.
not expecting that when
And
I
it's
tried
very
this
light. I
one.
mean, the legs are boom. I can see it here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but look at all those legs on there.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Beautiful.
So we have a question. How can you tell if you're drinking a good rum?
It ultimately boils down to when people ask me, how do you know you're smoking a good cigar? It's all predicated on each individual's preference. Everyone has a taste profile.
Everybody's palate's
I
different.
was at the cigar lounge last night till midnight. These guys came in, and interesting guys, and they don't smoke a lot, but they were smoking Drew Estate cigars that were infused. I've never had one. Everybody seems to love them. It seems to be newer to the cigar smoking business, but these guys love that. So that was their favorite cigar that I've never smoked. I like a Nicaraguan Maduro or Lajero with a little spice to it. And then the guy next to me may like a Connecticut real mild cigar from Dominican Republic.
Much lighter.
Yeah, I don't think the sweet cigar would pair well with the bourbon, with the rums. Because you're getting way too much sweetness. I think the spices would be great.
So just like when you talk about bourbon, everyone has their own
Right.
palate. Some
does-
people like Irish
definitely
whiskey,
doesn't-
Some people like Scotch whiskey.
Definitely doesn't drink or smell like a bourbon or a whiskey. Period.
Well, no, this is
Very nice.
I mean, this is really nice, and I'm liking like you were mentioning earlier, the legs. I think that's because of the sugar cane base. It sticks a lot more to the glass and gives you a lot better legs on there, and the color is nice and light.
It almost reminds me, being Italian my whole life. It's to me, something like this is perfect with a cigar, perfect, and it's I drink a lot of Zambuca,
Yeah.
so
Oh, yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's a very very nice, and I won't say it has anything to do with rum. It's just that nice sweetness, that sugar, the whole 9 yards. It's very very good.
That one, the last sip I had like a plum finish to it.
Okay.
I could see that.
It was a very plum finish on it, which was really nice.
So if you've never tried this, it's not really a faux pas to the cigar etiquette if Arnold does it, but you know, you could do this with rum.
Correct.
That little sweetness on the tip of the cigar. Try that. I mean, it's a game changer, in my opinion.
I've been doing that with
Incredible.
bourbon for years, but I mean, that's actually probably a good one to do with these.
Wow, try that. It's incredible.
So,
Anyway,
so this is a sweeter cigar. I do have a Drew Estates tobacco.
yes, that's different. It's a coffee flavored mostly for individuals that want a cup of coffee in the morning.
Yeah, but it's great. I just dipped it in there, like you
Yeah.
mentioned. Awesome. Juris, he's not familiar with rum, and he said rum is made of sugar cane. Does that mean it's sweeter than bourbon? And yes, it is, but it's not overly
Overpowering.
sweet.
Yeah, it's not like a liqueur.
Right,
You
correct.
get that. You definitely get that sugar flavor, and you know it's sweeter, where you don't get that sugar so much
Yeah,
when you're drinking bourbon or whiskey.
Nice. Very nice. Awesome.
Third country.
Let's go to the third country. That would be Honduras. That's the final country, and Honduras' characteristics, they try to offer a unique balance between the two, Nicaragua and Dominican Republic. Honduras tries to strike a balance between boldness of Nicaraguan cigars and the smoothness of Dominican ones. Honduran cigars are known for their earthy, slightly sweet notes, making them versatile and enjoyable for a wide range of palates. Whether you're looking for something bold or more nuanced, Honduran cigars deliver a diverse smoking experience. And so, for the rum, I chose a Venezuelan Diplomatico Exclusiva. It has hints of vanilla and spices, and it beautifully complements the earthy and slightly sweet profile of the Honduran tobacco. And for a more high-end pairing, you want to spend the money, is Ron Zacapa XO. It's about $85 to $90 bottle, which offer layers of caramel, dried fruit, dark chocolate, providing a perfect contrast to the earthy, balanced nature of Honduran cigars. So with that, this is going to be much different tasting.
So you were the one that turned me on to that exact bottle that
Yep.
we're gonna have, and I love that, and I still have some of those bottles. I love them, and They won many
Awards.
awards. That bottle, that exact bottle.
Excuse me, I think
So
we have a
Dave-
question from the
yeah.
audience.
So Dave, what would be a brand that sells Honduran tobacco cigars?
Good question. One of the ones you may know, you ever hear of Alec Bradley?
Excellent.
Ooh.
Once again, the majority of their tobacco is Honduran. It's made in their Raíces Cubana factory, which means Cuban roots. Essentially, all the major guys came from Cuba, but that's their big factory in Nicaragua. So you have Alec Bradley. Also, Rocky Patel has all his growing grounds and makes his cigars in Honduras. And Punch is another one that's Honduran.
So what about, that's kind of what I'm questioning, all these different regions and the cigar, the main brand names out of Nicaragua and Dominican. What would
Okay.
you say, just to give an idea?
I'll give you Nicaragua. The most famous one would be Royal Havana. The second was Padron, very famous Perdomo, and we're going to their factory coming up in February. So you have Padron, Perdomo, and another one that I know you like and I know you smoked is Oliva. The Milanios are all made. So
Awesome.
that's another one.
And what's Dominican, like La Flor Dominicana?
Obviously La Flor Dominicana and Arturo Fuente and all the Ashtons that has Ashton on the band. So Ashton is just a name. Somebody took a name and they filled in cigars to fit that name. So Pepin Garcia makes all their Aroma de Cuba and San Cristobal and all the ones you see in Nicaragua, and all the Ashton, it's got to say Ashton on the label, that's all made in Dominican Republic.
I could
Isn't
smell.
Rhino- Isn't Davidoff now made in Dominican?
Is
Started in Cuba?
Yes, they're made in Dominican and Honduras,
Oh, okay.
and a lot of them do have roots in both, but but they're mainly Dominican Republic. They left in 1991, that was the last company to leave Cuba. They all left in the early 60s, but they held on to, with the Russians and stuff, to 90, 91, then they left, but they're there.
Orange. Perfect.
Orange.
This one here, I don't know what you're drinking, what we're pouring on this one. I faded out for a minute.
This is, it's
Diplomatico.
called Diplomatico, it's from Venezuela. It's incredible, isn't it?
Wow, the nose on this is like, it's
I
like
can smell
smelling
it just
flowers,
sitting here.
man.
It's like boom in my face. I love
this,
it.
this
The
is
nose
just
on-
beautiful.
The
love that.
nose
I
on
love
this
that
one
bottle.
is close to a bourbon whiskey on this one.
Right, this one is, this one is definitely happiness in a glass.
Yes, yeah.
And I haven't even tried it yet.
It's really good. I've had that bottle many times, and then Dave turned me on to that, and then for quite a while, we started drinking Diplomatico. That was the closest thing that
Corte Legendario.
Yep, fantastic. And I think I still have 4 bottles because they were talking about pulling it off the shelves. I'm like, wait a minute, this was
Yeah.
years ago.
That's a great value. That's about 50, around 50, 45 to 50 bucks. But if you're a rum drinker, that's really special.
So the local liquor store up the street,
Wow.
they have a couple of different places, and I turned them on to we're talking about rum. They were talking about rum. I was in there at the store, and I know these guys for a long time, so I helped them during the holidays, whole 9 yards. And long story short, I said, he's like, what kind of rum do you think? Because they're getting an order, they want to get more rum. People are asking for more rum, and I said that bottle and a host of others, and they have them on their shelves today.
Nice.
So
Quick
that was all you.
quick question from the scroll.
Yep.
What did Fidel Castro smoke?
And we are and we are assuming that Dave would know, but
Well, why wouldn't I, right?
They were like this. El Presidente.
So give you a little background. 1966, Fidel had risen to power at 59, and of course, over the years he faced a lot of assassination attempts, a couple of coup attempts, and a popular uprising. And of course, he had a cadre of security guards that always surrounded him. And one of the particular security guards were always smoking a thin, very pungent, beautiful cigar that Fidel went up to him one day and he goes, "Hey man, I love that cigar. Where do you get them?" And he says, Well, I have somebody that rolled me only this particular Vitola. It's a 42-inch by 7.5, so it's long and thin. And Fidel said, take me to this person. So he went there. He said, now you're going to make them exclusively for me. And they were called Cohiba Lanceros. The Cohiba Lancero is what Fidel smoked. Anytime you saw him anywhere, he had that long, narrow cigar, and that's what he smoked, Cohiba Lancero.
And we have those at Royal Havana.
Well, we have Lanceros, not necessarily Cuban.
Not those, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just happened to light up a long, narrow cigar from Royal Havana.
And I love those cigars.
Yes.
Lanceros are great. Great
Yes,
cigar.
So
yeah.
Dave, what, we tried 3 different rums. What drink's the closest to Cuban rum?
The Diplomatico, the last one. Very, very, very close. It's almost identical. Don't have the palate of an individual that's a sommelier or like Rob with cheese or yourself, but if you gave me that Diplomatico, and this is a bottle, of course, left over from one trip to Cuba, but this is called Legendario, and it's an elixir. It's not quite 80 proof. It's 68 proof, 34% alcohol, and it's sweet and it's mild, and it tastes almost exactly like Diplomatico. I couldn't tell the difference.
Really?
This
Yeah.
Diplomatico is amazing.
It's
This is,
I couldn't tell the difference. Really.
this is, I mean, like Karen and I both dropped our jaws in awe, and I right away instinctively covered it like I normally do when I get a good bourbon because I don't want it to evaporate.
It's a great cigar. I mean, a great.
This one
Great-
is.
great rum.
rum. Thank you.
So Diplomatico, are there different types, versions,
Yes.
whatever you call it, of a
Yep.
Diplomatico? Because
Yes.
I think I've seen different
Yes,
bottles at the
yes.
store.
There's 3 or 4 different ones. One with a higher proof, one with a different kind of a mash bill. Like there's a little bit something else in there other than because I saw them, but the Reserva Exclusiva was the one when I looked up all the rums that paired the best with Honduran tobacco. So
And they have this bottle. They have one that's basically got like orange
yeah,
label and all that stuff. Yeah.
so there are different ones.
So is this the one you prefer, being closest to the Cuban rum?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry. Didn't mean-
And the price point on that bottle?
That is around $55.
Well
Still-
worth it.
Still very well within the range. I mean, so far these 3 that you brought, I mean, represent. If this is the good representation of rum, I mean, I'm digging it a lot.
And if, like I said, the gentleman asked earlier, why would I want to get into rum? It's an area that it's under appreciated, and a lot of people stars. You have Cabo Wabo, and you've got Casa Amigos, and you've got everybody jumping on Avion, the tequila bandwagon. You haven't had any stars come up with Joey's rum or whatever the hell it is. But I'm saying it's one thing that I think going forward, people are going to be more sensitized to the rum and how good it can be, especially if you're a cigar smoker. And I think you're gonna see an explosion in the consumption of rum.
So, would you classify these as dark rum since they're not the clear rum that we're used to drinking, the Bacardi at the bars and whatever?
They're considered the 8-year, and Mount Gay, I believe, is 7-year, and the Diplomatico is 7-year. So they would be considered. If it was a tequila, I would say it would be añejo, the age.
Okay, so they're midpoints then.
Yes.
And do they put them in a barrel like they do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, they ferment them in a barrel.
Same way as they
Yeah.
do bourbon.
So
Okay.
I wonder if the factor is if they're using specific rum barrels or if they're using the French oak or if they're using.
He had said something. David said something about. Oh shoot!
What did you say, Dave?
No. So,
He said that he's laid down so much knowledge.
Oh my
it's hard
God,
to
yeah,
keep up with
It
it.
is hard to keep up with it, but anyway, French oak, different things like
But
that.
I mean,
so-
are they used barrels from like a winery or something, or do they just do virgin barrels? If not, we can look that up on the Google.
The majority of the ones that are in Cuba, obviously, are all
All
used.
used,
They're
right.
all rum, day in and day out, 24/7. They don't have much. With Mount Gay and with Puerto Rico having an endless supply, I think they do one run. You can look it up. They'll do one run, and when the barrel's done, they destroy it. That's it.
Oh wow!
Really?
I think so. Take it.
Interesting.
Awesome, nice.
I will say, so, I like the clear liquors mostly. I love tequila. and I like vodka. And if you're trying to get into the more brown liquors, I
Yeah.
think this is a really
Nice entry
good
point.
start.
This is a nice start, yeah.
Yeah.
To, if you want to
Yeah.
cross over into the brown
It's
liquors
not
and give it a
great,
shot.
Absolutely, it's not 100, like somebody came in the store yesterday and they brought a larceny. I said, I'm familiar with that, I've had that, really take a closer look. It was a single barrel proof, 127 proof larceny. So if the average neophyte is gonna open that up and pour it in a glass and take a sip of it, they could be turned off to it, it's too
Sure,
hot, too strong. But rums, you don't really see a rum at 100 proof.
Sure.
You don't see that. The majority of the stuff that you drink and put on the show, it's 100 plus.
Right.
That's where all the flavor comes from. But rums are between 68 proof, which is an elixir, all the way up to the 90. You don't see much above 90.
True. True.
That's nice because sometimes those like you said, that larceny, those heavy hitters will really give you that burn,
Right.
and you don't get this at all
Right,
with a
right,
rum.
Right.
I would love to be stranded on an island with Johnny Depp and break open the rum just in case, Johnny, you got some empty time on your hands. Sorry, honey. I know you're right here.
I've had
Johnny Depp is your pass?
I have.
You have the same fantasy with
We
both there.
we talk about Havana rum.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And they have a bottle out that's fantastic as well. It's a
Havana Club.
Havana Club. Sure.
Yeah, that's their flagship brand. That was the Bacardi brand. When the family got kicked out,
Right.
they took the
They took it
Bacardi
out.
factory and they called it Havana Club.
Gotcha. Yep. Yep.
And I really think I'm going to go with Joris on this one too, because Joris piped in there and he says, I think you found a new way for me to spend my money, Dave.
So I have a question. So if you're not familiar with rum and you're going in for the first time and you want to try a bottle, Dave, what would you recommend would be a good starter bottle of rum?
Oof.
Think about it. You don't have to.
One of those three are all good.
Yeah, oh my God.
I mean, if you want something nice and sweet, and it's going to give you great flavor, I'd say Diplomatico.
But doesn't it set your expectations so high,
Well,
though?
then you start at the top, basically. But the Bacardi rum is the most pedestrian one that everybody has been familiar with, Bacardi and Coke.
Right.
It's not that exact same because it's aged 8 years, but that's a nice entry level too. Mount Gay, people that drink rum on a regular basis, like I said, the boat captains, they love that and appreciate it. Like you said, it's got a complex and it's got a sweet finish, and it's kind of mild, it's kind of bold. But I mean, if you want something that's not going to be overwhelming and have a great taste, the Diplomatico would probably be.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's
it's on the shelf.
Yeah.
readily
on the shelf.
available.
I'm sorry, I must retract a former statement I had that the rum, there was a rum that I had consumed neat, and it was called Bamboo rum.
Oh yeah.
Bamboo?
Bamboo, and I don't know where that one comes from. I was introduced to it by a good friend of mine. He owned a tiki bar, craft cocktail bar, and he was making all his cocktails with bamboo rum, but it was literally bamboo rum and a coconut water ice ball.
No kidding.
And that was the cocktail, and I'll tell you what, that was an amazing drink. So
Awesome.
I guess you can do a whole lot more with rum than just with Coke.
A lot of people walk past rum.
Yeah,
and they
I
shouldn't.
don't think I will be anymore.
Yeah, no, I agree. This has been like so eye-opening.
Oh my
It
God.
really has because, I think of rum, I think of the Bacardi Clear.
Yeah, that's the only rum.
And that's what I think of. And it's like,
No,
yeah.
that's
And then the Sailor Jerry's and the the Krakens and stuff like that. The Jack Daniels and Jim Beams of rum, I guess we would call that.
Yeah, but this is definitely
But these
eye-opening.
these are really nice.
Sure.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm used to the bourbon season changes affecting the way they're aging. In Cuba, the season really doesn't change much.
Exactly.
How does that affect the aging process for the rum?
That's just what you said. We're not at this right now. We're not talking about Cuban rum, but the fermentation process is essentially the same. So all year long, you pretty much have the same climate. It gets a little hotter in the summer. It gets down to about 80 in the winter. But that's why the rum, Cuban rum formerly and really to today, is considered the best rum in the world. We don't have access to it. We don't enjoy it. So people aren't knowledgeable about it. But when you go there and you taste it, you've tasted these. I always bring 1 or 2 bottles with me if I go to Cuba. so they taste the difference. Like Bacardi, they call it in Spanish. They're like, oh, that's. And then they taste Havana Club Milk. Oh, this, they just toss it. But, but the
But
the
didn't they have?
consistency is because of the weather, climate. It's pretty much the same. You don't have snow. You have some rainy season. It's a little cooler, but it
And hurricanes.
It's
Awesome.
very consistent.
I know you're the cigar guy, not necessarily the rum guy.
Right.
Why the bat on the Bacardi bottle?
That I don't know.
Ah, I got
You
it.
got it.
Oh,
I should know that because I did it one time. They asked me that question. That's just a symbol of that, but I don't know. There's got to be a story behind it. There's a story behind it.
so
You got me.
I have a question.
Yes.
So Bacardi used to make a 151 rum.
Yes.
No
Yes,
longer.
They took it off the market.
They took it off the market.
There was
Everybody has a story, yeah.
legal entanglements from the spring breakers and stuff that had indulged, and a lot of them were getting killed.
I believe it because that
So-
stuff was like.
So they had to remove it from. It was an international lawsuit, and they had to remove it from the market.
The bat on the logo for Bacardi came from Donna Amilla, the wife of the founder, Don Facundo.
Don Facundo. Yeah.
Don Facundo spotted a colony of fruit bats in the rafters of the first Bacardi distillery. And it symbolizes good health, family unity, and good fortune.
There you go.
Here.
Ask and you shall receive. Thank you, Google.
So Karen from Hiram says, "Wow, Dave, you really came prepared."
Chance favors the prepared mind. You never know. bunch of drunks hanging around with me. You know, I might be.
Hey, I resemble that remark.
No, I'm just kidding. You know, I know rum is like the redheaded stepchild of the liquor community, but like I said, if I could just impart a little bit of knowledge, change, people's perceptions, and then, I have nothing to gain. I mean, I wish I had a piece of the rum market as it grows over the years, but that's something that's underrepresented in Ohio. And I know going to Cuba when I went, I'm like, rum? Are you kidding me? Nobody drinks rum. And then you realize, hey, over the Latin America, Central America, South America, it's all rum. You know what I mean?
Nice.
The bourbon.
Yeah, I guess they're
because
not-
of
they're
the
not-
cost. It's expensive.
They're not growing corn or wheat to
Right,
make
it's all
whiskey out of
sugar
it.
based.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Right.
Awesome.
So let's transition a little bit here. I know you're proprietor of Royal Havana,
Yes.
Yep.
and you have probably one of the best house selections
Amen.
of cigars
Thanks.
I have ever seen.
Sell out every month.
And I know you take great pride in a lot of those.
Thank you.
Which one of
Our top
the-
sponsor.
Yes. Which one of the Royal Havana cigars would you pair with these three rums?
Well,
Because I know that you make a lot of them.
on the fly, I would say with the Mount Gay, the lighter rum, I would say the Scorpion a la Crown. It's one of my latest. It's a Connecticut shade wrapper, but it really does pack a punch to it, even though it's Connecticut. You think that the darker wrappers have the more bolder flavors, but so I would say the a la Crown with that one. With the Diplomatico, I would go with the Diablo.
Yeah.
It's a darker,
I love that cigar.
Yep.
sweeter, a little bit Ligero tobacco, which is a little spicier. I'd do that one, and then with the Bacardi, I'd probably do with Mr. Eppert, the smoking there, the Culebra, because I think it embodies light, and it embodies dark, and it embodies a little bold and a little mild. And I think that I would do the Viper with the latest cigar. That was the last one I came up with, the Viper with the Bacardi.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to several cigar shops, and it's like, I've the friendship that we have and the loyalty that we have to you. It's just great to know that when you walk into your place, your house cigars are something that you created,
Yeah.
and you took a lot of time to pick out the wrapper, and you know what's going on with them, and you put out a hell of a quality product. I feel bad buying one of the
Oh,
other brands in there because I like the home stocks better.
660, bro.
660, the round table cigar.
Big Greg's been there not from the beginning, before there was even a twinkle in my eye, and he was there, and we talked over the years of that 660 and how I've kept it the same price for the last 12 years.
Wow.
It's never changed. Where you've got 1, 2, maybe 3 price increases, depending on inflation and storm patterns in the Caribbean and what happens with the crops, but I've kept it that level, and that was always the flagship. But as the years have gone by, you have to understand that you have to appeal to more people across a wider spectrum. So that's why I thought the Scorpion was a Connecticut mild, but with a nice little kick, would be, you know, more palatable to more people than 660. But that was one I developed with him, and that was his main cigar. He's a big, bold guy with a big, bold cigar, and it's worked. But we are transitioning to other flavors, and I'm going to do one coming up with a Sumatra wrapper, a little different. So stay tuned.
Sumatra, reminds me, it makes me think of coffee too.
That's
So
right.
very
Exactly.
similar, right?
That's
Because
right.
of, yeah,
Hesitant,
yeah. Awesome.
Awesome.
We have
The birthday boy,
Yes.
Rob Up
We
North.
got
It
birthday
is
boy.
Rob Up North's birthday, so he is here in the house tonight.
Come on, Master.
I can attest. I am well traveled across the U.S. I go to many cigar lounges. I always buy house cigars. Royal Havana has by far the best selection
Thank you.
and the best house cigars that I get anywhere.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Great testimonial.
That's why Dave is our top sponsor.
That's right.
Well, but
He is the man.
along with being a rum connoisseur and a tequila connoisseur and a
Bourbons and
all this good stuff.
vodka. I tell you,
You guys got to stop
He's
up at
the
Royal
man.
Havana when Dave is there
He's the
and
man.
ask him some stories, because he will bend your ear and you'll walk out of there with your side hurting from laughing, because this man can tell a story.
And he can tell a great joke
and
too.
a great joke.
Not so much today, but anyway.
But I mean, you offer a lot. You offer a lot of
Land of second
services,
chances.
but you also have a lot of services. Like
You know,
you can offer cigar rolling.
Dave
Yes,
is lucky he met me.
It
Jesus.
took me a week to get out of the headlock.
You're gonna love me. You're gonna love me. You're gonna love me.
Come on, baby.
Come on, baby. Oh, good Lord.
When I met Anya in Havana in 2002, I said, you know, eventually if we stay together and you come to the States, being a cigar roller, we could offer, especially Northeast Ohio, a unique offering that, you know, if you're in Miami or Tampa or you're in Ybor City, it's pretty commonplace to see people rolling cigars, but a unique value offering in Ohio, if you live there, is you could come in the store and roll. So that was 2005, and guess what? It took me 10 years, but she's in the store rolling. So
And doing a hell of a job.
once a month.
How many
or
events?
Private events.
Holy shit.
You were at the last, we done maybe 10, 15
We
events.
did like three recently
in a row, yeah.
in a row.
You
So-
do private events, which I think
That's-
is great.
that's the
And if
thing.
someone is
At an
interested,
affordable price.
They,
Really affordable. If you think about flying somebody up from Miami and paying for their flight, paying for their housing and their meals, and paying for the tobacco and the hours that they roll, it's actually exorbitant cost unless you really have a special occasion or it's a corporate event. But I can offer those same services with a pretty, real, honest to goodness, live Cuban woman rolling cigars, not on the thighs, on the table.
Although your wife is very gorgeous.
But it really is a nice additional service that you can get at Royal
Yeah.
Havana.
and she's been doing this for years, and
Yeah, 25 years.
I remember some years ago, we were having, there was a Christmas party going on, and she couldn't make it, not Anya, they wanted a woman. So
Yeah,
anyway, long
yeah.
story short, this
You
woman
fit
this
in
woman
perfectly.
here,
Yes.
you fit in perfectly.
Oh, good Lord! I don't even.
He was itching with the
here's
pantyhose,
me.
though.
It was a little tight.
I don't need the visuals. No, thank you. I don't need
my balls were hanging out, but who cares?
Oh,
I just talked to Lisa Fazio.
Did
last
you?
week.
that's the show. Thank you very much.
She came in and she saw my car in the parking lot. She says, "You're the." Well, I was the only one in the store.
Right.
You're the cigar guy. You remember the time that you were up at my shop? I said, "It was Greg Battaglia. You remember?" He goes, "Now I remember. The guy who was at my house till 2 a.m.
They wouldn't let me leave.
Can
They
I?
dragged her up the.
They were. I tell you what. So Dave, I go. I don't know how to do that. He goes, just shut up. You'll be fine. The whole 9 yards. They kept me there till I was supposed to leave at like 9 o'clock.
Were you rolling cigars?
No, the
Oh.
cigars were already pre-rolled.
And
But anyway,
if you remember, I told him the woman couldn't show, and she goes, I go, I got a guy, Greg Bertagli, he's my buddy, he's, works at the sheriff's department at the time. She goes, don't bother, just have him, set him on the back porch. I go, you're gonna wanna meet this guy. So 3 in the morning, he's still there, and they're all like,
she probably sent me $300 worth of food on the way home.
Yeah, but his
We
garter
were
was
glad.
full of singles.
I was just enough to stop at the gas station and have a coffee. That's nice.
my
That's
God.
so. I'm
Lord.
nice to hear about Lisa. That's great. Too funny.
Can you pour me a little bit more
And I'll tell you,
Diplomatico, please?
Just so you know, the guys in the audience tonight are a lot of regulars up at Royal Havana. I've only been going there for about a year now, and I tell you what, every time I walk into Royal Havana, I walk out with 5 new friends. I mean, it is a nice culture to go to,
It's a great place to be.
and there's never a stranger when you walk out.
Sure. You never know who you meet. That's the
And
crazy.
that is, it's a great environment that Dave has.
All
nurtured
walks of
up
life
there.
come in there. Good people.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna claim this statement as my own, but to dovetail on what Bob said, it's a place where strangers become friends and friends become family.
Amen.
100%.
Amen.
That's
Absolutely.
the epitaph that hopefully when people walk in there's no cliques and you don't have to sit at a certain spot, but hopefully over the years everybody feels like when they leave they're part of the royal family.
Sure.
Yep. Don't have an agenda. Just come in,
No agenda.
want to smoke cigars, meet some friends, and hang out. And
Sure. Sure.
met a lot of great people up there.
We sure did. We have a lot of some of the people here that we met through Royal Havana. They're
I think
sitting-
you
sitting
met
here
Ray
today.
on Cognac through
I did.
Royal
I did.
Havana
I did.
Cigars. So.
I mean,
Dave, he calls me one day. It was like a Friday or something. He calls me one day. He says, "You got to come up here." I'm like, I said, "I'm getting ready to go to bed." "Shut up! You got to come up here." I go, "What's going on?" He goes, "Just shut up and get here." So I go out there, and that's when I meet Royan and Ray and the whole 9
Ron
years. Right. And I ended up. We had a conversation, and they were putting out their product for the cognac, and it was a penny a taste. So they give you these little plastic things.
A whole penny?
A whole penny. I was like,
Spendthrift.
I was like, how much? He was 10. So I drink my first one. He goes, "What do you think?" And I'm like,
Give me 30 cents worth.
so I gave him like $5. I gave him like $5 because I was like, I couldn't get it. I was like, what? What? So anyway, long story short, so everybody leaves. It's like late, and Ray and Ron. And I said, come on, we're going to have a conversation. So I turn around and I say, all right, listen, blah blah blah. If you're going to promote your cognac, this is what you need. So I said, what's your address, this and that, and I sent them Glencairn glasses. I don't know if I think I sent them like 3 boxes of Glencairn glasses, right? So they started using them, and they were very. Those guys are great. They've been here many times. Sometimes they just show up here, which is great, And at the end of the day, they're like, it's amazing what a glass can do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we have on the scroll, Rick Latkovich said Royal Havana is the best. I walked in on day 1 and have been a regular since.
Good guy. Great guy.
Thanks, Rick.
Yep. Thanks, Rick.
That's
Fantastic.
awesome.
He's a good dude. Great guy. I love seeing him.
So I want to go back. So I made a comment about 151 rum, and Joris, who is in Belgium, he mentioned Stroh rum. It's 160 proof, and it's available in on his side of the pond. Have you heard of that?
160 proof rum.
160 proof. It's called Stroh. So you think of the beer, Stroh's, spelled the same way. Stroh rum.
That's like an anomaly because I have never heard of it. Like I said, most of the rums that I've ever seen are 90, really at the most. That might be some kind of a nuclear experiment or something.
A nuclear experiment. Get the flux capacitor out, yeah.
Joris, if you have that bottle, take a picture, send it to the email. We'll see what we can do about trying to find that.
I would
Yeah.
love to see
I would
that.
love to
Sure.
see that.
Yeah, I mean, if you take a
Absolutely.
picture of the bottle, send it over, please.
And where is it made, too?
Right,
I'm
yeah,
very
right.
curious
I mean-
about,
Yeah.
I'm gonna actually Google that.
I can't believe George stayed up tonight. Thank you, George.
I
Love you,
know.
brother. I love
I
you.
know. It's awesome.
Joris usually works early, and it's
Yeah.
early over there, so he
He always
sets his
put-
alarm to get up to see the show.
To come hang out with us.
We love the fact that he's an insomniac. It's wonderful.
He's a great dude.
We touched on a lot of things tonight. Is there anything that we missed that you wanted to mention, Dave? I know that
No, not
we
really.
covered a lot of stuff. Your house cigars, your rum knowledge.
Well, Christmas time this year, coming up in the middle of December, we're gonna do our annual Fine and Rare event. It's Alec Bradley puts out a cigar for the last 12 to 13 years called Fine and Rare. And with the acquisition, they were bought out by a larger company. And so the Alan Rubin, the founder of Alec and Bradley are the two sons. They stepped up and they're making cigars now too. And they were wondering whether this will be the last Fine and Rare that the three collaborate on. So middle of December, follow us on Facebook. We'll update you. We're going to have a Fine and Rare event. They only make about 2,000, 2,500 boxes.
Oh.
The cigars contain 10 unique tobaccos from 4 different countries.
Can I send this out?
And so that'll be our next event.
Send that to Dave. Sorry,
Okay,
Dave.
here's the Stro rum that Joris was talking about.
Made in Austria.
Oh, all right.
Oh boy.
Look at cheesecake over there.
Made
Look
by,
at
what's
Cheesecake.
it say? Made by leftovers from the Stroh Brewery, Detroit.
Awesome. Wow. You don't see that in Ohio. You don't see that in Ohio. You know this ain't in the United States.
There may be some.
Awesome.
The seconds from Jägermeister may go
Right.
in this.
Oh, there you go.
Jägermeister. I drank a whole bottle of Jägermeister when I was in Europe with
And not
Goran.
just a little bottle.
No,
We're
the
talking
big bottle, 175.
like a gallon.
I drank that. I drank that whole bottle.
And you're still here to tell about it?
I
Yeah,
had
well,
a great
you know,
story.
He dropped his pants about 3 times at the bar. It's okay.
After dropping my pants 3
He was
times,
trying to count to 21. I mean,
so here I am in Serbia. I'm in Serbia, and I was so drunk.
No.
So when I went and I paid the bill for everybody, and I didn't realize I was
you
so
must have
drunk.
been drunk.
I was so anyway, I'll take that. So anyway, long story short, I go to reach in my pocket and my pants fall down, and I'm not wearing underwear. Okay, a whole 9 yards, and I pick up my pants, and there's 2 goons bigger than me, and thank God that we had a what do you call it?
Security guys.
Security. We had security guys everywhere we went, right? So anyway, long story short, after the 3rd time I dropped my pants, they picked me up by my elbows and they walked me to the friggin' door. True story.
He didn't realize. Well, you dropped him, but I think the first time was an accident.
First
the
time
other
was an
2
accident.
Were
The
just,
fourth
you know,
time was not.
The 5th time, that definitely they understood.
I was
But
like,
anyway.
he didn't realize it was a full bar, but it's okay. It happens.
But we had a great time. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's all that matters.
So, Dave, this has been an awesome tour
Thanks,
of
brother.
cigars and rum, and I have been extremely enlightened about all of the knowledge that you've dropped on us, and I have a new appreciation for rum
Thank you.
based on what you've shared with us, and I think, I would like to explore this a little bit further
Sure.
and try some other.
Yeah, absolutely. There's
what-
a lot of great, like I said, these are the more affordable ones, the more lowbrow ones that you can walk in and grab without breaking the bank. But there are some really Zacapa and Zaya from Guatemala, and the other ones from Panama are fantastic and much more complex but more expensive. So there's another layer that you can explore.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. This is.
And that's on the shelves too, Zacapa.
I've seen that
Zacapa
one.
is there.
Yeah.
There's Soler and there's Zacapa 23. But there's the 16-year that I didn't see, XO. It's called XO. I didn't see that.
Awesome.
I love the fact that you have also paired these with cigars. I would like to actually put this out on our Facebook page
Sure.
to show everybody
Sure.
what those pairings are. So if they want to revisit some of these
Right.
rums and cigars,
That's a great question. Why don't we do this? with the Dominican, obviously, I think one of their Cigar of the Year, former Cigar of the Year, and one of their flagship brands is very hard to get, is the La Flor Dominicana Andalusian Bowl. So I would pair that cigar with the Dominican rum. Then I've got a couple of others with the Nicaraguan, the Padron 3000 Maduro would be a nice cigar that would go with that. That's made there. It's a little bit bolder. And then for the Honduran, I would go with the Rocky Patel Sun Grown.
Nice.
So it'll give the average individual that knows these cigars examples that if they wanted to go out and pick up the cigar, pick up the bottle, come home, and have your own unique experience.
Awesome.
Awesome, yeah, and we'll throw that on our page for anyone that wants to give that a try and how to pair those, because this was I am like so excited about this. I think this was awesome.
I just want to throw one more thing about Royal Havana. If you guys don't know anything about cigars and you want to get into the hobby, the habit, if whatever you want to call it, the culture of it, stop in over there, because Dave and Hoops and the guys over there,
Steve,
yeah.
Andy, Tony,
they're all willing to help you out,
right,
and direct you in the right way, and they'll hook you up with cutters and lighters and everything you need to start on this great path. Because I think I said this last week when we were out there, is like,
right,
you meet a great set of people in this cigar culture. Sure. And they're always friends, because you're always out there for something different, and you don't meet that kind of people smoking a cigarette.
No, that's absolutely true. And at the end of the day, it's all about relationships.
It is.
The cigars will fade away, the rum will go away, but you've got each other, on a day in and day out basis, that you've made friends, forged over, a cigar and a glass of rum or bourbon or whiskey or whatever you have. But it really is it's a subculture that if you don't know it, if you've never experienced it, it's very unique.
And a cool thing, like you said, you've got cigars, you've got all of multiple cigars, but you have the accessories.
Oh yeah.
Too. You've
Oh,
got
yeah. Merch. Got all kinds
you,
of merch.
you have a great ashtray here,
I
which
do.
I don't know if
I
you know
do.
that Greg is
I stole
using
that.
one of
I
your.
stole that. He says, "Those are really nice." I'm like, "Okay." He walked away.
Look,
Took
Elvis.
that home.
No, but I mean a lot of great things that you can buy there too. You're wearing one of the Royal Havana cigar shirts, where I have one of those sweatshirts.
I didn't bring my Royal Van.
No, you wore your
I know
tradition.
that. My white T-shirt.
I didn't say 38448 Lakeshore Boulevard, Willoughby, Ohio.
And your hours, Dave?
Well, Monday through Thursday, we open at 10, we close at 9. Friday and Saturday, 10 to 10. Sunday, 10 to 7. And we're at the intersection of Lost Nation Boulevard and Lakeshore. I would say half a block west on Lakeshore from Lost Nation. And Royal Havana Cigars, we've been there 12 years, more than a decade, so we've seen a generation kind of come and go, but we're into that next iteration of the store, and I think it's going to be fun, and if you stop by, I think you'll have a good time.
And we are the Cleveland Browns people.
That's what we are.
Are you a Browns backers watch place?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
And
Now,
speaking
if
of
they could only win a game.
yeah, speaking of generations, you have your sons working there also
Yeah,
now.
so now Daniel and Darius are
Yeah, so-
filling in. We've got a couple of people that are out on surgery, so we've got the double Ds filling in.
Yeah. So
And the boys are working too. But it is it's gratifying and humbling from the standpoint that Greg and I were in there when it was just a blank concrete bunker, and we had ideas of where would we put the humidor, what would the ceiling color be, and what would the tile and put up the panels. But it got together in a little over a month, and it's been rewarding, challenging, and gratifying all at the same time.
Amen.
But at the end of the day, it's the people that I've met, the relationships that I have today that I would have never had I not had that opportunity to have the store.
and
You've done a great job.
I will also say that you,
Done a great
Anya
job.
did a great job raising the boys.
I watched those boys grow up.
But no, and that's a great testament that you,
Yeah.
as a small business owner, have been around for 12 years.
Well, we won't mention names, but there are local establishments within, an arm's length of my store that have gone through 8 or 9 different iterations over the years, and you realize small business, it can be very alluring, and it can be very exciting, and but it's also very challenging. And you have to, day in and day out, always put the customer first, and secondly, never lose enthusiasm and never become complacent. Because I'm the only cigar lounge in Lake County, and I never rested on my laurels and said, hey, I'm the only one, come get me, I'm at the top. Absolutely not. Every day I wake up and every day I start from the bottom. Everybody that comes to the door, you try to inculcate them with a little knowledge, put your arm around them, treat them like family, and hopefully they come back. And they're not a spy for the IRS.
Although we love the IRS. We do. We love them.
They're welcome too.
We do golf outings.
Yes, I'll follow.
We do Christmas
bakes,
events,
clam
clam
bakes.
bakes, all that stuff. We do it all.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it really is. It's
Yeah.
like a family up there.
Yeah.
It's a
It's
great
a lot
place.
of
So,
fun. A lot of fun.
And congratulations, Dave, on 12
Yeah,
years.
thanks.
That's
Yeah,
that's
thanks.
awesome. That really is.
tell your buddy from Austria, come on over.
Yeah.
What's more on the horn? You guys got any questions for Dave?
Anybody else? Yes.
I just want to add to tribute to you and your establishment that what you have is so well liked. When
Thanks.
somebody said, "Hey, we need volunteers to come in here when you were in the hospital,"
Yeah, I know.
we
I know.
all just
Did our
pitched
deal,
in.
man.
No,
Did our
absolutely.
deal.
And
Yeah, we did.
I really appreciate that. It
We
was, like I
did.
said,
We cleaned up everything.
I
that-
was gone, I came back, and the place was, not as I left, it was better. And that's a real testimony and a testament to the people that
Yeah.
were there in my absence.
Yep. Yep.
Lots of love, Dave.
Yeah, Dave, you're a great guy.
Thanks.
Always been.
Thank you
I,
very much.
I'm glad that we met.
Thank you.
Glad that we met. I was glad I had a hand in the humidor.
Yep.
It was a great time.
You always have your hand in the humidor.
Sometimes it's in the cash register.
Motherfucker.
Maybe on that note.
Royal Havana Cigars, Dave Somrak,
Thank you.
great guy.
Peace out.
All right.
Peace out.
And you peace out. You ready?
Samrock out.
All right.
Love you.
Thank you, folks, for the scroll. It's been great. Just want to mention that we've extended our T-shirt offers
Yes.
on, what is it, Instaprint? No.
Custom ink.
Custom Ink. The link is on our Facebook page till
It is a
October
pin.
12th.
Thank
It is
y'all.
pinned.
Thank y'all who bought a lot of stuff
Oh,
for us.
awesome.
Thank you guys.
so much.
WhiskeyRoundtable@gmail.com to get a hold of us on our Facebook and Instagram. And Dave, thank you so much for a great education
You're
tonight.
welcome. Thank you. for
Dave,
having
if
me.
someone wants to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
They could reach me at Royal Havana Cigars at gmail.com.
Gmail.com. Okay, awesome. Because, great events like we mentioned already. But
Or follow us on Facebook and instant message me or whatever.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Either way.
sorry, Bob. That
No,
just
you're
made
great.
made me think of that.
That's perfect.
But
I mean, we appreciate your sponsorship and your friendship, too.
Thank you guys.
Hey kids, thank you very much today. We had a great time today. Nobody drank Joe Boo, so somebody's got to drink that.
Joe
But
Boo
anyway.
will drink
Joe
it.
Boo will drink it.
Okay, all right.
Tonight.
Leave it out there for tomorrow.
Oh, don't you mess with Joe Boo.
See, he just screwed it all up. Hey. Anyway, God bless you guys. Thanks for watching the show today. It's been a great time. We had a lot of fun. God bless you. Until then, I am your host, Big G.
Go Tribe. I am Karen Little B.
Happy birthday, Rob Up North. I'm Bourbon Bob.
Dave, your local cigar guy. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, kids. We'll catch you guys next week. Be
Peace
safe.
and love, man.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Excellent show.
Awesome.